There's this thing that happens anytime we hear about tragedy, about death, when we're forced to acknowledge, through other people's pain and suffering, our own mortality. To recognize that we are just a bunch of sentient organisms on a spinning rock with no fucking clue why we're here or where we go when we die. Sometime after I first learned about Abby having cancer, I was thinking about her and I saw this beautiful flock of birds flying through the air doing that weird thing that birds do where they all move together to the left, to the right, they're up, they're down. How the fuck do they know when to turn? Who's steering? I watched them and I thought about wedding rings. This $1,000,000 or $1 billion industry that seemingly everyone has accepted as just the way we do things. So much so that a bunch of children in Africa are literally physically abused into finding shiny rocks in the ground that are then sent to these other parts of the world where people have running water and 3D printers and therapists. And they take these rocks and they put them on top of this very shiny metal, which I'm sure has its own fucked up backstory as to how it came to be sitting in this random display case at Zales somewhere in Rhode Island. And this man, it's a man because all the birds decided it was a man, and so all the birds just turned left, goes into the store and buys this metal rock thingamabob that costs something like 120 days of his life, which again, like, who the fuck is steering? Sorry, just going. And he takes this shiny metal rock thing and he brings it to this woman he's known for 2.5 years, who likes the same Netflix shows as him, but doesn't know that he occasionally does cocaine. And he gets down on one knee at the fanciest restaurant in Providence and puts this shiny rock thing on this lady he kind of knows finger, and they begin this promise to be with each other forever and ever, even though there's something like 2,020 years of glaring statistics that the likelihood of all this working out and keeping you happy is like 1 in 100. All the other bird humans in this fancy restaurant get up and applaud, and they kiss and they smile at each other, take in the moment, and at the very first socially acceptable moment, they announce their engagement online with a photo that's cute and classy and catches them both at their most symmetrical and supports the troops and all the victims of the wildfires in Australia, and only took an hour of tries to get the one where they look like they're not trying. And then they reminisce about their relationship, and they call their loved ones, and they buy a round for the birds that are sitting next to them. And she cringes thinking about how upset her older unmarried sister will be by the news. And he smiles thinking about all the cocaine that he's going to do with his friends at his bachelor party. But more than anything, they just keep looking down at their phones to see how many likes they got on their engagement announcement. And it ends up being 324, which is pretty good. And I just hope that something is out there somewhere watching all of us and thinking, what the fuck? Why? What? Why don't they just go do their own fucking thing? Which is exactly what I'm thinking about watching the birds. And then thinking of Abby. And life. And death. And what I took from it is that nobody knows what's going on. None of these systems or paths make any sense. Forget about a career, forget about money, forget about beauty or soulmates, forget all of it. What do you want? For you, not the flock. Because one day, sooner or later, you're going to die. So live your fucking life while you can. I like to believe that Abby did that well. Maybe I only feel that way because she's passed now. But I don't think so. I really believe that woman knew how to live, who she was. And if you don't know her, it would only take seeing a photo of her or by her to feel the same. And so I'm left with a painful reminder of our mortality, just how important and beautiful and fleeting life is, that even on your worst, most mundane day, in the middle of the winter, in the middle of a squall, with truly terrible news in your mind, there's still beauty to be found, lessons to be learned, reasons to be present. Because your friend who's dying, or that kid in a ditch in Africa mining shiny rocks, would love to have this moment. Every day above ground is an insane gift, and that's an important lesson to continue to learn. But it does absolutely nothing to change the fact that an exceptional young woman went through hell on earth and is now gone. And nothing will change that. And I certainly won't do any justice in articulating just how tragic that truly is. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's just unfair. And so I'll end by saying that I genuinely feel fortunate to have had the pleasure of knowing Abby, the little that I did. And I'm so incredibly sorry that you had to go through all this. You deserve better. And I wish that I could have told her that in person. Goodbye, Abby Crafterwoods, and thank you. Thank you.